Hi guys, Jonathan Chown here with JChownGolf at Crondon Park Golf Club in Essex, and this video is all going to be about how you can move your hips in a way to really transform your game. The old saying is golf's all in the hips. Definitely is when it comes to this video. So we're going to talk about in this video a movement to where you can move your hips in a certain way in the backswing, which is going to immediately influence a hell of a lot of good things in the golf swing, including getting rid of a slice, so really controlling your path properly and generating more power. So a lot of you guys out there who hit weak slices, guys, this is going to be the perfect video for you. So really, if we get straight into it, and we talk about hip movement a little bit first. So really a lot of the times with hip movement, it's very rare that I see a very good one come on the lesson tee. So what we normally see with this kind of movement of the hips in the wrong way, I'll see guys getting up to the top of their backswing, primarily using rotation of the upper body, really trying to almost brace their lower body and turn as much as they can with their upper body. Now, albeit that was golf instruction in the mid-2000s, but we know that really hurts the good player or the average player out there. That will give you back pain. That will really cause you to hit the ball a little bit too slicey as well. And why that would happen? Because if I turn up to the backswing and create no turn to my hips at all, my hands are going to get into a very high position here. So they're going to be in relation to my feet. So if I draw a line straight down from the club to my feet, my hands are going to be pretty much over on top of my toes. So when I'm on top of my toes here with my hand at the top of the backswing, when I turn the downswing, those hands will always go out in front of me. With rotation, hands always go out in front of us. So if you're an over-the-top guy out there, this is a lot of the reasons for why you will swing over the top. You'll get up to the top of your backswing without doing anything with your hips, just trying to coil up with your upper body, and you'll make a lovely good move on the start of your downswing, and that club's going to get thrown way out in front of you. So that's one big thing that can happen if we restrict this hip turn. Another bit that can happen if we restrict all this hip movement, we can get in the same position again, but our body might try to compensate for that move. Where for me to get onto my path here, I see a lot of guys trying to work on this and it will destroy your golf. That'll be really we're manipulating the path to get it on the inside, and you can see as I'm doing that, left shoulder is raising up, pointing up to the sky there. All that's going to happen from there. Yes, it's going to get your club more on path, but at the same time, it's going to create an absolute ton of tension in your lower back. That's really going to hurt yourself over time. So back problems, this is going to be for you. And also, when we really tilt backwards where this left shoulder is getting really high early, we end up reaching the ground first. So we end up hitting with our low point a little bit behind the golf ball, which is going to cause fat shots, thin shots, even top shots there, guys. So hip movement in general, we want to move them. So if you think of a golfer like a Jack Nicklaus, you think of how much he's turning his hips. All golfers from that era, they're moving their hips or even their left heels coming up off the ground because they're unrestricting their hip turn. Now, you just watch here. I mean, you know my backswing, if I'm restricting my hip turn, hands are very high, club's going to really get out in front of us. So if I turn my hips more, we can see immediately I'm just trying to turn my hips back and around, get my back belt loops pointing to the left of my target. Immediately you can see with my hands, if again I have a line, imaginary line that comes from my hands down to the ground, they're going to be more around my heel region. So you can imagine if I'm up here and I'm going to turn the downswing, the club is not going to get too far out in front of me. So it's a natural way to get the club falling on path just like we want to. So a very easy thing to do here, guys, to get those hands in a nice spot at the top so you can control your path a little bit better. So we know that it's going to fix path. We know it's going to fix our slice shot in that element for it. But what it's also going to do, again, if we look from this angle here, excuse the mud all over me. It's very muddy out here in the UK at the moment. So if I turn up to the top of my backswing with just my upper body, no hip turn, I get a very restricted turn with my upper body as well. I can only turn the amount of how flexible I am with my shoulders. So if you're someone like me who is not flexible in their upper back and shoulders at all, you're going to get a very small amount of turn up there, to where, of course, less turn we have, less power and speed we're going to have in our golf swing. So as soon as I start really moving my hips, really turning them, you can see how much more of my upper back you can start to see now, loads. So if I'm staying on my center, something we'd always talk about on this channel, staying on my center whilst I'm turning up there, loads of my back, and it's going to immediately come out to more club head speed, guys. So we're going to know straight away more turn, it's going to, one, get our hands more around us, which is brilliant. That's going to help us with our pass in the downswing. It's going to make us turn a little bit more so we can get more distance as well. So what we're going to do for a little drill here, guys, to see, alignment stick is what I like. So I did say that what I'll be thinking of my back belt loop pointing a little bit left of my target. That would be a great one. But to work on it on the range, we've got this pink alignment stick here. Now, what we need to do is thread it through our belt loops so we can visually see what our hips are doing. So if I can see here now that, right, if I do a move where I'm not really turning my hips at all, we can see this stick is barely moving, isn't it? It's barely moving. So ideally what we want to see this stick get about halfway to the golf ball. I want to see it getting halfway to the golf ball. So if I do this the other way around here, guys, halfway to the golf ball with this stick. So we see that. I mean, I could probably turn a little bit more than that. There we go. So even if you start to feel to get that hip turn that you need to start lifting that left heel because of it, I'm perfectly fine with that. Because the only time that's really going to be a problem, if we start to turn it so much, we almost start to get in kind of like a finish position at the top of the backswing. We want it just lifting and raising because that unweights that foot and we can get that weight moving how we want to and those hips turning through that. That's why a lot of old school players used to do it. It's a brilliant, brilliant move. So we ultimately just want to do here, guys, very simple. Get this stick moving a little bit closer to the golf ball. Hands are going to be more behind us because of it, and as well, so path is going to be nicely controlled. You're going to get a little bit more turn. Now, I'm going to hit a few. It's very, very cold. I'm very stiff, so probably not going to be the best of golf shots, but just so you can see what this looks like in a full motion here. So let's hit a couple shots. Well, that was better than I expected. Seeing as well, because how stiff and cold I am today with what the weather's like in the UK, I would generally not be able to hit the ball very far because of it. We would always lose a good amount of distance when it's cold weather. That's a video for another time for sure. But with me really using my lower body to, exactly how I need to gain that freer turn, it's going to give me the distance I need on a day where it's really cold like today. So all us guys out in the northern hemisphere, real northern part of the world, this is really beneficial for us as well, because we know when it's really cold outside, if we're just moving with our upper body, we're not going to get much turn. If we're really turning our hips nicely, getting this stick going closer to the golf ball, even when we're unflexible, we're really stiff on a day, we're really going to be hitting the golf ball a lot better, just like myself today. So let's go another one. I'm just going to get this stick going a little bit closer to the golf ball, get my hands more back behind me, and it'll get me a little bit more turn. So let's go another one. Again, pretty good golf shot. Actually very happy with that. So it's a very simple thing there, guys, where we're just freeing up a little bit of movement in those hips, getting a little bit of turn there, and we're immediately going to be getting our hands in a better place on the top, so calm down the slice. We're also going to be calming, or increasing, our club head speed in there. So just grab something like an alignment stick, thread it through your belt loops, see it going towards the golf ball. This is one thing I would love to see every golfer out there do to some degree. Some of you might be gifted enough to where you're so flexible you don't need to do it that much, but just as a precedent, I mean, getting in that nice hip turn, even if you do hit the ball quite far to begin with, you could always benefit by the path kind of aspects this will bring to you as well. So guys, if you struggle with your hip turn, you want to have a really good hip move in the golf swing. The ideal hip move is really what I like to think of this. Give that little channel, give this a little like there. So that will really help my channel out a ton. So if you liked it, of course, press that like button and subscribe as well if you want to see more golf instruction just like this, where we're talking about common topics, but broken down in a way that's not really done on YouTube that often. Get into root causes and then really going from there, breaking it down, nice drills to do afterwards. And if you want extra stuff as well, go follow my Instagram account. I got about 5 to 6 posts a week, so I'm really active over there. So if you want any more, I'll always put nice little drills out on there, things with my students as well. So if you want to have a look at that, go for it, guys. So if you want to get that more turn, you want your hips to start aiding you, more turn, less slice, do this and you'll be hitting the ball way better.